Aging isn't about slowing down, it's about stepping into your power. Welcome to Don't Let the Old Lady In, the podcast where we challenge outdated beliefs about getting older and embrace wellness, self-love, and confidence. Your host is Lorie Gardner, a registered nurse and nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, and she is your guide on this journey to vibrant, mindful living. Each episode will explore topics that nourish your mind, body, and spirit, and how to navigate health issues in the healthcare system as you age, so you can live with energy, purpose, and joy. Let's get started. Here's your host, Lorie Gardner. Welcome back to the Don't Let the Old Lady In podcast, where we empower you women to take control of your health, wellness, and aging journey. I'm Lorie Gardner, RN, certified health and wellness coach. So today, the last couple of weeks, we dove into how to pick the right doctor. This week, we are going into how to prepare for your doctor's visit. Doctor's visits without stress, a guide for women. So, it could be a routine doctor's visit. It could be a preparation for a surgery visit, routine checkup. We're going to go through it all. Even when you're just feeling under the weather. These visits can feel overwhelming if you're not prepared. But with a clear plan, you can walk in feeling confident, informed, and in control of your health. I never take a client as a nurse advocate to a doctor's visit until I've actually put together an agenda. I put it together with my client, like I make sure I elicit from them what it is, all their symptoms, details. It's interesting because when you get into the office with doctors, especially with people that are nervous a lot of times, they go off on a tangent. We don't have time to go off on a tangent, and I coach my clients in the nicest possible way. We're going to stick to the agenda so you get the best possible outcome from this doctor. And their time is used efficiently too. You know they don't have much time. So by the end of this episode, you'll know how to prepare for any medical visit, routine or urgent. Ask the right questions and understand your options. Leverage the support of a care partner or professional nurse advocate, and leave the office feeling empowered and not stressed. Your health is your power, and preparation is the first step. My first step for my clients and for you is mindset and preparation for any visit. Let's start with the mindset, though. Whether it's a routine checkup, a sick visit, or a pre-surgery appointment, your approach can make a big difference. Routine visits are your chance to catch potential issues early, review your medications, and track your overall health. Sick visits are about getting quick, clear answers and treatment to avoid complications. Surgery visits clearly are about understanding the risks, recovery, and outcomes. No matter what type of appointment, here's how to prepare. Bring an updated list of medications, supplements, and vitamins. If you don't have it listed out, just bring sometimes I have my clients just bring the actual bottles with them. Have a brief history of any symptoms, changes, or concerns. When I have clients that have chronic health issues that are ongoing and will be ongoing, I highly recommend they keep a journal. Depending on the age, some want to keep a hand journal, hand notebook. Just keep a log of your health. It doesn't have to be sick, when you're sick, or like what your blood pressure is. It could be your diet, your sleep cycle, all of it. So keep a brief history of that and just concentrate on any symptoms and especially any changes or concerns. And we prepare questions in advance. You prioritize the top 3 that matter the most, and we go in priority order. Just in case something comes up and there's an emergency and the doctor's got to leave, I want to hit the big spots first. The big questions come first. And then bring any recent lab results, imaging, or prior surgical records. Honestly, ladies, it's pretty wild out there because there's a portal for everything. Some portals talk to each other, some don't. So that's another thing to really be aware of. If you have a doc that can't access, like I have a primary care physician, I made sure that she had access to 2 big centers of excellence in Manhattan. She can see everything that I do there. So I do keep my own kind of ongoing log, just for concise, but she's really good at looking at all those. Sometimes they can't see things, so you have to be aware of that. Get all your portals set up. If you need, and they don't have a portal or access to certain records, print them out and bring them with you. Think of it like preparing for an important meeting where you are the CEO of your health. Your role is to gather information, ask questions, and make informed decisions. So what are these key questions for doctors and surgeons? Let's get into the specifics, ladies. Here are questions tailored for different visit types. So let's say you're just going on a routine visit. What screenings or labs should I have at my age for my health conditions? That's a fabulous question. You need to find from them. You can actually, if you're on Medicare, you get a lot of free screenings. A lot of people don't use all of them. So if you're 65 or above, check that out. But ask that doctor, what screenings or labs should I have at my age or for my health conditions? And ladies, if you're talking to your friends and they're getting other types of tests you haven't heard about, that's also worthy of bringing up in a visit. You want to make sure you have all your bases covered. You should also ask, are my medications still appropriate? Any interactions or side effects? Again, if you start to get put on a lot of medications as you get older, sometimes there are subtle interactions amongst medications. So if you're starting to feel a little funny, definitely write it down and bring that to the attention of your doctor. I have a client right now who she had a couple of different practitioners and she was put on a couple of new drugs and she just wasn't feeling right. We just started all over again. It was kind of her primary care physician her putting on all these cardiac drugs and then type 2 diabetes drugs, and I got her specialists. We did one at a time. We got her medications tweaked. She's feeling remarkably better. So really important to have that addressed. If it's a sick visit, what could be causing your symptoms? Just list the most important symptoms first and have details about it. Stay on track with this agenda. And then ask what tests or treatments are recommended to try and decide what the diagnosis is for these symptoms. And then what red flags should I watch for when you go home? Because after a sick visit, you hope you have the right treatment, right? And you take it and you get home and you're okay. But also just make sure you ask, what if I don't get the outcome we're looking for? And what if I experience this risk or this side effect? And what if it happens after hours? Who do I contact and how do I handle it? The only thing I don't cover in this session is emergency room, and that's like a topic in and of itself. So I will devote doing one of those in the future. Now, if this is a surgery visit, what exactly will this... I'm going to back up 1 minute because I just finished 6 visits. I think it's important for me just to state here, if you're ever in doubt and you can't get through to your doctor after you saw them and you're having a side effect, or just in general you can't get through to a practitioner and you're just really concerned, I always say better be safe than sorry. If you think it's not an emergency room visit, go to an urgent care. These urgent cares are wonderful. I just told a client who on Friday afternoon called me and said she tends to have urinary tract infections, and they can be pretty serious as you get older. And she said, she didn't have any urinary symptoms. She just started to feel a little lightheaded. Sometimes people have more mental changes with urinary tract infections, and they go undiagnosed. So I said to her on Friday afternoon, I said, listen, you're a half a mile away from an urgent care center. I highly recommend you go there now. She did. She got the right treatment. She did have a UTI, and she staved off potential worse outcomes. So important to just take yourself to urgent care if you need to, or the ER if that's what it warrants. But for surgery visit and your surgery is being planned, you really want to spend a lot of time understanding what that surgery involves, right? However much you can handle. I will preface this by saying some people can take a lot. Like when I worked as a nurse in a busy city hospital and I was prepping somebody for surgery, I usually knew them fairly well before I gave the pre-op education, and I knew if they tended to be more anxious than not, or if they needed more information than that. So hopefully your practitioner, your doctor, understands that. Because if I had somebody who was super anxious, I went through high level, and I would ask, do you want to know more? How much detail do you want? And they would say, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. I got it. Because sometimes more information can make them anxious. But you have to cover your bases. And it's certainly when somebody signs a consent, you have to read everything on there. That is just regulatory-wise has to be done. But again, know for yourself how much you need to know and communicate that back and forth with your surgeon. So find out what's involved, find out what the risks are and the expected outcomes so you're aware and you're making the good decision to do this. And then how many times again, this is a little bit of what we went over last week, but it's worthy of repeating. Ask your surgeon how many times they perform the procedure and what their complication rate is and what happens if I have that complication. Also very important is to have a pretty in-depth dialogue on what is the recovery timeline and what additional care might be needed, like physical therapy. Will you need any equipment at home? And can you go straight home, or will you have to go to rehab facility first? So, pro tip right here, don't be afraid to ask for clarity. If you don't understand medical terms, ask your doctor to explain it in plain language. If you don't have a clear enough picture in your mind to be able to sleep tonight of what's happening to you and then what's going to happen after, because plans are going to have to potentially be made afterwards. So take your time and understand everything. Typically, you have enough time unless it's a really acute emergency where they have to rush you in now. You do tend to have some time to do this preparing work. And then research and tools for confidence, okay? Preparation doesn't stop at the doctor's office. Here's how to do a little research to feel even more confident. We talked a little bit about this last week. Use Hospital Compare and check the hospital complication rate and patient experience scores. Sometimes just seeing a testimonial or patient experience that they had a really good experience can really be helpful. You can look at health grades because they provide ratings for surgeons in hospitals, including procedure-specific data. You can also look at specialty societies like the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. Many of these surgical specialties maintain outcome databases for patient guides. And knowing this information helps you ask informed questions, advocate for yourself, and avoid surprises. I will tell you, though, that it is vital that you have somebody at your side navigating you through this surgical timeline. If you want to look up something really interesting, you can look up Campaign Zero. I'm going to do a future podcast on this. It really gives you checklists on what to bring to the hospital, how to prepare for your stay, what to do while you're there, like take notes, who's going to be your point guard. Point guard could be a family member, a care partner, or somebody like me, a nurse advocate. Really important to have somebody by your side. This healthcare system is complicated, often scary, and very fragmented. Sometimes the right hand isn't talking to the left. You're left in the middle with a potential gap. I fill those gaps. A care partner or loved one can fill those gaps, but really you need that. Well, that's a good segue right into the power of having a care partner, a loved one that's really assertive. Not somebody's going to sit passively and be like, listen to the doctor and be like, oh, okay. No, we're going to have somebody who's assertive. Or you have a professional nurse advocate. And this is just something I can't stress enough. To bring that support, bring a notebook, write everything down, have that trusted friend or family member or professional nurse advocate. It makes a huge difference. Why? Because they help you remember questions and answers during the visit. They can notice details you might miss when stressed or anxious. They provide emotional support, reducing fear and helping you stay calm. I can't tell you the biggest joy I get, and I've had it so much lately, is when I take these seniors. Sometimes these women are widows, recent widows. Sometimes they're gentlemen that were actually, in upper management, but just find the taking care of themselves just so difficult. And to see them relax and have less anxiety. I mean, from the time I speak to them on the initial call to the time I meet them and go to a doctor's visit, they're like a new person. They're calm. They have somebody's got their back in a very complicated system that they can't understand. It sometimes they feel like they're not even the healthcare system isn't even talking their language. And then don't get me into the insurance piece. I've gone over that, but look at previous podcasts on the insurance piece. So that brings me such joy that I know I calm somebody down. Because when I calm somebody down, number one, it affects their blood pressure. It goes down. Their heart rate goes down. Peace of mind is better. They get better outcomes. So it's really, really important. And just remember that, yes, you're in a very vulnerable position when you're at the doctor's office. And remember that even myself, it goes for everybody. We forget 80% of what a doctor tells us because we've gotten, our minds are just so on overdrive. So that's another good reason to have somebody with you. And it just becomes less stressful when you have somebody knowledgeable by your side. So here's some practical tips for every visit. Bring your medical records, medications, and any recent lab results. Prioritize your questions. Top 3 first. Stay on target. Stay on the agenda. Take notes or record the conversation with permission. I have often recorded doctor's visits, but absolutely ask permission first. Ask for clarification if you don't understand something. Bring a care partner or nurse advocate. Follow up if you have additional questions or need more time. Even small step like this can turn fear and uncertainty into confidence and clarity. So whether it's a routine checkup, a sick visit, or pre-surgery consultation, ladies, preparation is your superpower. By planning ahead and asking the right questions and bringing support, you take control of your health and your peace of mind. So if you'd like any further information, I offer a complimentary consult if you have a chronic condition or if you have surgery coming up or you don't know how to create a good healthcare team. I give you a complimentary consult to tell you what I do, how I do it.
That's a wrap on today's episode of
Don't be afraid to make that call.
Remember, age is just a number.
So that's it for today's episode of Don't Let the Old Lady In, and I hope it helped you. And remember, health is wealth. And we have this one wild and precious life. A lot of myself and my friends, we're in the fourth quarter. I don't know what quarter you're in. Doesn't matter.
Keep living boldly.
You got to make it the best quarter. If it's the fourth quarter, you really tend to have a few more health issues, so it's imperative we get ahead of it. We get into a prevention mindset and a leadership mindset. Until next time, ladies, stay well, shine bright. The world needs us out there, ladies.